What's going on? This is Greg, and you at the Greg Said It channel. I wanted to give a shout out to all those original, what they call bandwagon buffs. I know we got a whole nother slew of people coming in. We have to do an orientation, I guess. You know, everybody's going to say they with the buffs now that they won, but we've been with them. We caught it bad for weeks. You can look at all the videos on the channel, all the comments. We was going to be in the insane asylum, according to everybody else, or we should be. They swarping down that we've been in some type of fantasy and that there was no way they're going to win. And we heard all the predictions and spreads and whatever you want to call it. But shout out to those who stood strong, who stood on their own too, who didn't give in to I guess, the pressure from everybody else telling us we were crazy. And we still not crazy. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm calling it a 3-0 start going to conference play. And I said that too. It's going to be a lot more bandwagon people coming real soon. But I wanted to do something special for the last game. This video is about the 5 myths debunked by the last game, by the TCU versus Colorado game. There was a lot of talk about what the Colorado buffs were and what they were not. But it's 5 particular things that stood out to me. The first thing, no talent on the roster. The biggest lie. It should be. It's a great number one. I'm not even going to count them. I'm going to just say number one. I'm not going to put in no particular order. But number one, they had no talent on the roster. Now, I've done videos talking about all the guys that come from SEC, ACC schools, and a lot of them even played. You saw Slush out there making, he made the game-saving tackle. He made plenty of tackles, many plays. Number 18. He started as a freshman. He played a lot as a freshman at Arkansas. He had a single-digit number at Arkansas. You know, that's a big thing. He's a big-time guy. I don't even really know the full story how he got here. But like I said, there's a lady named Cheryl C. She does a lot of documentaries on the players. And he was one of them. And that's when I really saw this guy's good. Then I heard Coach Prime say, hey, he's gonna start. And I said, I'm not surprised. But you didn't really see a lot of that on the well-off. And I told y'all people, these people are not dumb, and they warned you. They're not going to put everything on well-off. I mean, they're not here for you. They're here to document what they want to document and what they want to show. And while we're at it, talking about the roster, you're looking at a slow release. I call it a slow release. A lot of these guys, you ain't even seen yet. Y'all get on the hype and, oh, you see, you haven't seen nothing yet. These whoopings have not ceased to be going to be put out. Every week you're going to be surprised. Javon Antonio, number 4, they didn't really show him a lot this week. You can say he didn't play or he didn't play good. I believe it's a slow release effect going on. Another big time receiver is going to emerge in Javon Antonio. And while we're at it, look out for Ellis. I think he's number, I don't know, is he number 7 or something like that? We got Dawson, I believe, number 6. He played a little bit. He can fly. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. Young guy. I think he transferred from Auburn. You have Hopkins, freshman from, I think he's from South Georgia. These guys can play. Remember I told you, I think y'all going to learn. Y'all need to go ahead and subscribe and follow so you know what's going on, because ESPN ain't going to tell you. And you don't want to be surprised. You want to know who to look out for? I'll let you know. Because I've been following these guys as they come in. I've been watching them practice. And, of course, you know, a lot of the assets we have through the channels. But just knowing who the players are, you ain't really seen them yet. Even little Caleb Mathis, he can cut you up. He has a lot of weapons, and a lot of them are young. Who else have I missed? I don't know. The defensive line haven't fully cut up yet. You don't really know those names yet. They're just getting into their own. The linebacker core, that was Demore Kennedy from Alabama. You didn't really see him. We have a big guy, his name just slipped my mind, that just come from Arizona State. Big-time linebacker. Played at Texas, played at Tennessee. And look, forgive me for this, just slipped my mind right now in the moment. That's how raw this is. Now, look. QBs, you did not see Kamani McLean. So, and you didn't see a couple other guys. Not like that. And we still have some people on the injury. You haven't seen Alton. You haven't seen Alton at running back. Top player, top freshman running back a couple years ago before he was injured. McCaskey, number 22. Big guy, fast. You haven't seen all the running backs. You haven't seen Kabashier smoke. And I don't think that's by mistake. I don't think they really showed you everything. To really think that you saw everything, you're delusional. And that wasn't their best game. So it was no luck. I'm going to tell you what was luck. TCU was lucky that they was allowed to be in that game because they really supposed to got embarrassed. They really did. People say, oh, they dominate on the run. They had a couple long runs to help that average. They had a couple good series. But most of the game, the best thing they had was those huge, giant tight ends and receivers they had. That's the best thing they had going. That's it. It was a matchup nightmare. But I digress. Number 2, the O-line was too small. I told y'all we have a 6'10" left tackle, 6'8" right tackle. I think the average height for the line maybe 6'5", 6'6", average, and a little below 300 pounds in weight. I don't know what kind of, I call it, clown y'all was listening to that told you that. You was listening, not looking. You was not doing your research. These guys are not going to be huge. They don't run that type of offense. This is not Alabama. And 99% of the teams don't have an Alabama and Georgia line. That's why they win every year. That's the obvious. You don't look, you all of a sudden everybody got to like Alabama. You're not Alabama. That's why everybody get in the championship and they get ran through because they are way bigger. They are way bigger. And that's not quite Pac-12. That's not quite Big 12. That's not quite anybody. That's why everybody gets torn out the frame. So let's be real. That line held his own. He sat in that pocket a lot. And he got a little pressure every now and then, but didn't slaughter them like you thought. Another myth debunked. Number 3, you had a SWAT QB, HBCU QB, who just so happened to did what he's done the last 2 years, the numbers-wise, percentage-wise, accuracy-wise. Just like the video I told you, the secret weapon of Colorado. Go watch it. There's no bandwagon here. I was here before the wins. The only reason I'm a bandwagon because I won with Colorado last year. But I'm an original. And I know the talent and I know Shador. And he put up over 500 yards. More than 4 touchdowns. About 4 touchdowns. 4 receivers caught over 100 yards. 4 different receivers. And they dropped a couple bombs and a couple touchdowns. God forbid, y'all would have had a heart attack if he had completed those. There's a couple more touchdowns that were dropped. Travis dropped 1 or 2 in the end zone. He missed a couple deep balls. It wasn't a perfect game, and yet he threw over 500 yards without a perfect game. You couldn't even do that on your best day. Name a quarterback that can do that on their best day. I told you all this is a top 3 quarterback in the nation. You didn't listen. You're too busy being jealous and hating. And say, oh, they did it in the SWAT. I told you, you can throw. If you're accurate, you're accurate. And if you got the weapons, it don't matter where you play. It's a quarterback. All you got to do is block for him. It's a quarterback. People clearly don't know sports. Just like you saying a pitcher who throws 100 miles per hour struck out a T-ball team. He can strike out a grown man too. What are you talking about? It's 100 miles per hour, it's 100 miles per hour. 99% of people can't hit it. I don't care who he's throwing against. You can't hit it. So that's bizarre. Number 4, Travis Hunter isn't like that. He's too light. He only did it in the SWAT. He really didn't dominate the SWAT. He ain't proven in Power 5. You know, some of the similar stuff. But I heard a lot of crazy stuff that should be ashamed of yourself. He's not really a good receiver. He's not a good route runner. People say that on my videos. But he's always open. He's been doing it since high school. Extremely dominant receiver. He could easily put up 3-4 touchdowns a game at any level. Any level. He wasn't the number 1 prospect in his class for no reason. And you all just lost your mind because he chose to go play with Coach Prime in Jackson State versus Florida State. And all of a sudden, he's not good enough. He still dominated these same boys he's playing against. He tore them up. He tore them up all over the country in all the different combines and all the different 7-on-7s. He's becoming an upperclassman. He's no longer going to be a freshman. He was above his level as a freshman. It's not too many people can cover Travis Hunter. I told you all that. Period. He went against the top DB Saturday and caught all over him. And what you think he gonna do against an average or below average DB? It's gonna be ugly. You get Travis one-on-one, that's dangerous. And you can't go 2-on-1 because then you leave Jimmy Horn open, you leave Xavier Weaver, you leave Javon Antonio, and all these other young receivers I named you ain't seen yet. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Y'all keep not listening. But yet again, that was debunked. They say he's not a good DB. He's an average DB, but he's a better receiver. They're always trying to find something to say he's not. But he's steady showing you what he is. He dominated at receiver and he dominated at DB. And that was his first game. All these boys have to do is stay healthy. And I know he's going to stay healthy because they have the depth that you all refuse to acknowledge. He's not going to have to play every game like that because they're going to run up the score. They're going to run up the score in these next 2 games. They're going to run it up. The reserve's going to play. They're going to run up the score quick on Nebraska. Nebraska's not going to score. They're a slow team. They're not explosive. They have to grind away at and run the ball. They're not going to be able to run like that. And Shador them is going to get on the field. Boop, touchdown. They're going to run up the score. Colorado State, they're going to get beat the same way Washington State beat them, if not worse. I said it. Copy it, capture it, whatever you got to do. And lastly, it was all hype. Coach Prime, hype, Coach Prime, fanboys. Y'all go bury yourself now. Just don't even talk about football anymore. Fanboys, Kool-Aid drinkers. Because you don't know football, that don't mean I don't, we don't. It doesn't mean that. We saw what the man is doing. He's another level type of coach. How he runs his program. Everybody before the pregame said we went to the practices. It was like a machine. I watched TCU practice. It was lollygagging. It was a different standard. And that standard is what came through. Honestly, TCU was tired at the end. Even with all the chances and breaks that Colorado gave them, TCU was tired. I saw it. Their hands on the hip, they were moving slow. They slowed down. And that's why Colorado got them at the end. D-line started getting to them at the end. They was tired. They are way more conditioned than anybody they're going to play. And for you to say that anybody's going to go into Colorado and beat them, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. USC worst nightmares happen to go to play them at Colorado in the altitude. They have mastered that altitude. They are trained for the altitude. And they're already more conditioned because they condition them to death. They make sure if anything, they're going to be conditioned. And they're lean and they're fast. And they look at Travis Hunter. He ran, energized a bunny. Go get him a NIL deal. That's the kind of condition this team was in. They were not tired. TCU was tired at their own field in the so-called heat. It don't matter. You conditioned. But it's going to be even worse for anybody who have to go beat them up there in Boulder. Who's drinking the Kool-Aid now? You drunk the ESPN, First Take. You drunk their Kool-Aid. You didn't drink facts. The fact is, this team is as advertised and more because it ain't been advertised. You have not seen nothing yet. So this is what y'all need to do. Go ahead. Like this video. Send a great comment and talk about how great it is and how true it is. I don't care if it's 5 weeks later because it's going to come true. And go ahead and subscribe. Because we're going to talk about the low down and dirty truth. The truth. Not emotion, not hype. The truth. Every week. And you're going to hear it here first. This is where it's going. This is the real strengths. This is the real weaknesses. Like and subscribe. This is Greg from Greg Said It. And I'll see you soon.